Hey y'all, I'm Jhone, and this is the Genzone. The same entity that ransacked your pocketbook last pay period is the same entity that is going to ruin your movie-going experience. And nobody is talking about it. The government. Recently, the Supreme Court terminated the Paramount consent decrees. What the is that? I didn't know what a Paramount consent decree was before writing this coverage, and I bet my last overtax dollar that you don't either. So let me explain. The Paramount decrees referred to a Supreme Court case decision in 1948, the United States versus Paramount Productions, aka Paramount Pictures. Y'all may know them. Back in the day, studios like Paramount made their own content, owned their own content, and owned the rights to show their content. The Paramount consent decree was essentially a peace treaty.
We come in peace.
A treaty between the big movie studios and the US government, stopping movie studios from becoming monopolies that only release their movies to their own movie theaters. Still don't get it? Okay. Here's a hypothetical example. Before the decree was in place, if Walt Disney Company made a movie, it would only be shown at Disney movie theaters. And because audiences had no other options to see the movie, the company could then charge an arm and a dick for the tickets. Oh, wait. Kind of like how we only see Disney movies on Disney Plus now.
Oh boy!
The decree was terminated in August 2020 under Trump's watch, and the reversal went into effect just a few months ago. Delayed, but never denied. Oof. Won't the Republicans do it?
Won't he, won't he, won't he, won't he, won't he?
Hell no. Like Will Smith, studios can now do whatever the they want and get away with it. Maybe this is why Amazon just bought MGM, one of the oldest studios in Hollywood, just last March. Get ready, y'all. Amazon movie theaters coming soon. Every movie studio is going to start buying back their own content to pimp out on their streaming platforms and soon, their own theater.
P-I-M-P. Put it in my pocket.
And as an actress myself, I'm scared.
Damn, this is some scary shit!
If movie theaters are owned by big movie studios, it'll be nearly impossible for independent films to make it into theaters. We'll only be able to see the big budget Marvel type movies on big screens at Marvel cinemas. And independently owned movie theaters will go out of business. So bye-bye AMC, bye-bye Regal Cinema, bye-bye ArcLight. Rest in popcorn.
Ain't no lie, bye, bye, bye.
If you want more opportunities for Black filmmakers to get their films on the big screen without having to wear a superhero suit, write to your Congress people to bring back the Paramount consent decrees and save the movie industry.
Genzone.
Props to our sister, owned by the white mister, Candace Owens. She's hanging out with brothers now. But, unfortunately, she still has gone back to her old ways and was recently seen rummaging through the trash again.
Ooh, she's aggressive.
This time she pulled a White Lives Matter t-shirt designed by her only Black friend, Kanye West. Wait, let me be clear about the first image. I'm not calling Candace Owens a coon. That would be unoriginal. I meant she's literally a raccoon, an annoying little pest with black and white features who enjoys consuming and spreading garbage. Yet, so adorable too. Ain't she cute? Don't be fooled by that face. She loves reaching out her tiny, creepy hands to grab the cash from her far-right handlers to pay her to embarrass herself. All the while pretending she's some kind of political genius. Candace, honey, talking bullshit fast doesn't mean you're smart. It just means your breath stinks.
Ew, dragon breath.
And if you're so damn educated, why don't you understand that wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is absolutely absurd? That message has been beaten into us since 1619. We get it. You love non-melanated eggplants. And rumor has it, your husband does too. Oh, I'm sorry. That was down low. Possibly like Mr. Owens. Truth is, I don't give a what Candace Owens and Kanye Kardashian choose to wear or believe. We should all think for ourselves. What I do care about is the fact that we have very influential black people being paid mouthpieces for white supremacy in order to sabotage black power from within, which has been happening for centuries. It's called meritorious manumission.
Huh?
The Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710 was the legal act of slave owners freeing individual slaves for good deeds. Good deeds like saving a white person's life, saving a white person's property, or snitching on a fellow black person to a white slave master. Folks like Candace are just the modern day version. The tradition of paying black people to portray their own self-interest is as common as American Pie.
Didn't you f***ers learn anything at college?
Look, I'm definitely not saying that everything she says is wrong. Sometimes she spits fire. She has a platform because she mostly spews f***ed up false rhetorics about people who look just like her. She's getting thrown the milk bones for being a loyal bitch to her masters.
Can you do me a favor, my brown skin angel? Can you tap that white girl for me?
There is nothing new under the sun, and she's having her moment in the shine. Eventually, her white ass is gonna get burned. And we won't be there to rub some SPF on her fried ass back because she never had ours. Now, on the other side, y'all are taking a movement and comparing it with an organization we know is a scam. We've called out the embezzling founders of Black Lives Matter several times on this show. BLM still hasn't found a way to benefit black lives other than painting streets and throwing anti-racist quotes on professional athletes' jerseys. Where's the support for the victims of police brutality and their families? And there's also the fact that black lives only seem to matter when it's another race that takes them. But shit, that's a whole nother discussion for a different time. The point is, Black Lives Matter, the organization, is full of shit. But Black Lives Matter, the message, is very true and clear. The phrase was never meant to shit on any other race. Brown lives matter, Asian lives matter, blue lives matter, shit, all lives matter. But when we specify black lives, it's because the black man is the most unprotected man in America. Our race does not share the same privileges as others. There is a whole judicial and economic system built against us. It's a real struggle, an actual fight that some are fighting every single day. And that's why I don't condone the jokes or the trolling done by Miss Candace Owens and Kanye West.
Genzone.
Okay, I'm gonna say something very unpopular, but it's true. New York needs to refund the police. Mayor Eric Adams came out and said that he knew how to handle gun violence. Then he also said that he worked on transit patrol and understood how to protect the subways. So what the hell is this? This is not protection. Nobody is protected by you. It's literally the purge in New York City. And who the hell are these green Teletubbies?
Shocking video of a group of people dressed in neon green bodysuits attacking and robbing two teenage girls on the subway.
All right, it happened at the Times Square subway stop over the weekend, and the suspects are still on the loose.
Is New York now Gotham City? These dumbass bastards attacked people from the fire department? What? So the next time your landlord sets your building on fire because they need the insurance money, the fire department is not gonna save your stupid ass. You just gonna burn. This is all a Democrat problem. The leadership has to acknowledge what's going on and do something about it. I mean, we all know police corruption comes from the need for over-policing.
Hold it right there.
Hey, you, where are you going?
I'm going to mind my business. That's where I'm going.
Freeze!
Governor Newsom, come on. The LA shootings are getting real ridiculous. Is this where rappers come to die? How is this okay? I'm not saying that we need to bring back the likes of Daryl Gates or Lee Baca, but we need to feel safe.
This is definitely black on black crime.
Safety doesn't have to mean corruption. I have the utmost respect for law enforcement. At the same time, law enforcement likes to kill black people. Except in Chicago, where Mayor Lightfoot is running shit. Over there, y'all just kill each other. And finally, somebody please arrest Brett Favre. He's been hurting the public for years, paying people off and getting paid off. I mean, ask the people of Minnesota.
I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
The media, left and right, will have you believe that having any uncomfortable feelings or opinions about Islam is Islamophobia, and nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, there is a massive difference between peaceful Muslims and Quran-following Muslims. Now, before you come for me, read the Quran for yourself, from beginning to end. Don't scream you don't understand Harry Potter if you start with the Goblet of Fire. Start with the Sorcerer's Stone. I love my peaceful Muslim brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum, my people. Majority of the Muslim people I've encountered are good, hardworking, pious people, and many of them are American fam. We've all heard about the protests in Iran in reaction to the 22-year-old Mahsa Amini dying while in custody. Allegedly, her hijab was a little crooked and her hair was showing, so she was arrested by the morality police. If that doesn't send chills down your spine, you put on a tank top and go to Iran. No? Didn't think so.
Hell no, to the no, no, no.
Whether the specifics of the so-called infraction are accurate or not, one thing is for certain. Grown men arrested a 22-year-old woman because of clothing. Now, at this moment, you may be questioning when this broadcast is airing. And I assure you, this is 2022. Mahsa Amini suffered a fatal blow to the head while in the custody of actual morality police. Be thankful that you live in a democracy, because if you were in a theocracy, you'd be risking death for wearing your favorite Fashion Nova dress. What's crazy is that this is how typical Iranian women dressed in the 1970s, and this is how they dress today. So what happened? The Islamic Revolution.
Here's 100,000 women in Tehran protesting against mandatory hijab in 1979. Iranian women never wanted this. They did.
Women in Iran have been forced into hijabs and denied freedom and opportunity ever since. Yet, America still fucks with Iran and other countries with large radical Islamic populations that have a history of abusing women.
Things that make you say,
that kind of behavior is terroristic. And I thought the overall policy in America is to not negotiate with terrorists.
Go yourself.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
America is looking hypocritical as because how do you negotiate with Iran regarding a nuclear deal?
That don't make no sense.
And supply billions of dollars to their economy that you know they then turn around and use to promote the views of radical extremists. Our leaders can turn a blind eye all they want, but we still see the hypocrisy.
I'm talking to you, Mr. Man.
Like what happened with the tragedy in this young woman's case. Which side are you really on? In one breath, I understand we don't want Iran to have nukes. In the next breath, what are we paying them to actually do? The left loves lip service and social media performances while actually not doing a damn thing and maintaining the status quo. I'm sorry, my good-intentioned liberal friends. Watching CNN and posting your condolences about Iran is not activism. And the right would prefer us to ignore it altogether, cut off ties, and to just go to war. I just want us to put our money where our mouth is, or shut the up.
So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea.
So, Vice President Kamala Harris crowned herself Miss North Korea. I don't blame her for the misquote. Maybe the president's speaking sickness has caught up to her, which shouldn't be shocking. Joe Biden has been known to rub off on people.
Right over here. There you go. You can put it away.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good. And again, please looking right here.
We have been forced to excuse the vice president's absence at the border because she's over in the Eastern Hemisphere handling foreign affairs. Seriously though, Miss Harris, how could you confuse one of America's worst enemies, led by a dictator who Donald Trump deemed Rocket Man, with one of our allies that brought us this gold? The Democratic Party prides itself on being the party for the oppressed and all of their allies who stand for the virtue of social and political justice. With that noble spirit, there has been a spike in the party's interest in racial diversity, feminism, LGBTQ+ issues, and gender identity. They are loudly and proudly the party for people who believe in ushering social evolution at all costs. Despite the fact that 50% of Americans, unlike Tiffany Haddish, ain't ready, I stand for equality and justice. I am here for revolution. The very foundation of our democracy is individual liberty. I am proud to be me. I am proud to define myself and who I am on my own terms. But Mama always said, pride cometh before the fall.
Oh my God.
Genzone.
So now we have the first female prime minister of Italy. Some say she's a fascist that is a part of the same party launched by Benito Mussolini. Some say with the same extreme views. For all the Gen Z people who were robbed of education, Mussolini was a part of the Axis powers of World War II. Basically, Hitler's partner in the war. Well, like it or not, she is Italy's prime minister, who rules a superpower and is our ally. Democrats are cautiously reminding everyone that she's a fascist and could be trouble because she doesn't support the LGBTQ rights and is a traditional family-first leader. She doesn't support all the different gender names and stands 10 toes down in her position. I respect that. Republicans say that she represents the feelings of most Americans, but they're too scared to admit it because mainstream media opposes those views. Not even sure why Republicans and Democrats are trying to dissect her views anyways. They're just trying to make it relevant for the upcoming midterms. With 3 weeks away, y'all need to stop reaching. There are a lot of Gen Z voters that ignore midterms because y'all are not speaking to them. Remember, we are the largest voting group in America. Our time is now. What's that sound? Y'all hear that? Q. Is that you? Oh, no, that's just the sound of TikTok's 15 minutes of fame before the next new wave of American entrepreneurs knocks it off its throne. QAnon complains that Chinese-owned TikTok is just a guise for spying on Americans and that our current administration is in bed with them. Oh, say it ain't so, Q. Maybe Q was on to something. Just one press release announcing our show was all the warning that got Big Brother upset. TikTok canceled the Genzone page for violating community guidelines. What guidelines? Is keeping it 100 against the rules? I mean, did we ruffle Big Brother Biden's feathers? Q would say so. Well, we'll never know, but the truth is out there. Let's shift focus on the book, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab. You know, the guy that's the head of the World Economic Forum. Also, the head of the New World Order. Well, according to my QAnon folks, this book outlines the diabolical plan to turn us all into slaves. And the COVID-19 pandemic was all a part of the plan. According to Q, they will crush the middle class into poverty by job decreases and cost of living increases. Oh my God, we're living in that right now. If you're wealthy now, they're gonna tax you in the poorhouse, all for the purpose of the New World Order. Whew. Sounds more like the New Welfare Order. What's crazy about Q is that the book doesn't explicitly speak about any of these scenarios. But I guess if you're in the know, you could read between the lines. Thanks, Q, for keeping an eye out.
Genzone.
Florida has had a rough time these past few weeks, but the storm has passed.
It's over now.
And the southeast coast is recovering quickly. President Biden and Governor DeSantis put their differences aside for the betterment of Florida citizens. I wonder how many migrants Joe sent back to DeSantis to make this meeting happen. The peace offering goes to show that true Republicans' top concern is the people. It's just sad that it happens the most when there's a high body count of American citizens. Speaking of American citizens, the people of Mississippi have no clean water. In case anybody's keeping count, that's now Michigan, California, Nevada is already a damn desert. How many states have to suffer dehydration and third world problems before conservatives realize our nation is in a water crisis? The earth is 71% water, and yet...
Thirst is real. You know. The thirst is real. You know.
According to our president, the pandemic is over. The pandemic that lasted over 2 years took the lives of millions worldwide and permanently changed our healthcare freedom. Speaking of, now that restrictions are relaxing, will the workers who lost their jobs after choosing not to get vaccinated be offered rehire? There are young students that suffer from speech impediment from wearing masks all day. There have been several businesses that were forced to close because they didn't survive the lengthy shutdowns. What are their options for resolution? Or will these injustices just be ignored? If so, that's fine. We'll just add them to the long list of valid reasons for reparations in this country.
One eternity later.
In the midst of all COVID uncertainty, one thing is for certain: the vaccine saved lives. In the Black community, the discussion of the COVID vaccine ranged from people saying they would never take it to those saying they didn't want to be around family members who didn't take it. And we even asked a few people how they felt about it today.
Genzone.
So do you believe in the COVID vaccine?
No.
No, I don't believe in it. And I feel that the COVID vaccine is just some more trickery to keep us sheep.
Absolutely not. No.
Shake us up. Wake us up. Yes, yes. Up.
I took it.
No, I don't believe in it, but I still got the shot.
Not necessarily don't believe in it. It's just it wasn't a priority for me. So I waited about 2 years to get it, but I only got it because I had a new job.
So do you know anyone who has passed from COVID?
I know through other people, but not personally, no.
That passed from COVID? No.
Not personally, but friends I know. Friends is family.
No.
No, not to my knowledge.
My heart aches for people who've lost loved ones to it. Yeah. I've had several people who have gotten sick and I've not lost anyone to it, and my heart goes out to those people. Nothing can take that away.
Have you known anyone who has passed from the vaccine, even having taken the vaccine?
Oh, I've been fortunate. Everybody in my family, they took the shot and we had no problem.
No.
No.
Not personally, no.
No.
When the jobs made it mandated that you had to go and have the stuff in order to work, and then they got sick. Yeah. So they had to go on disability for having to do that. And you know, I saw that very much as trickery.
Genzone.
One organization that tackles this issue head on is the Conference of National Black Churches. With member churches across the country, they made sure they respectfully addressed the conflicting thoughts on the vaccine in many of our communities. One of the messages I found fascinating was their ability to engage the often heated debate of God versus science, to inspire people to be vaccinated. With their repeated mantra, "Together we save lives," these pastors made sure their congregations across the country were informed on all things surrounding the COVID vaccine and kept the Black communities as safe as possible. To that, I say thank you. And to all of you out there watching, I say stay safe, stay sane, and stay woke. I'm Jhone, and you're in the Genzone.